Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in strong support of my Amendment 132 to the Invest in America Act, which would ensure that wastewater infrastructure funded using the Clean Water State Revolving Fund or the Clean Water Act grant programs undergo a climate resiliency assessment. Today, 88% of the West is under some form of drought. Back in my home district, Nevada's 3rd, the water in Lake Mead sits at the lowest level since the Hoover Dam was built. And half of my home state of Nevada is experiencing exceptional drought, the highest classification there is. As I stand here today, the unfortunate truth is that this is not just a Nevada problem. From coast to coast, climate change is here. It is not a distance threat, and it demands that we take actions for all of our constituents. Investments in infrastructure are desperately needed, and we need to ensure that these projects can withstand the impacts of climate change. We cannot talk about infrastructure without talking about climate change, because what good is it for us to invest millions or billions in infrastructure if it can't hold up to the devastating impact of climate change? For example, we should be looking at how a water treatment facility would withstand extreme heat, because the reality is, as we've experienced, temperatures are rising. Just look at the West right now. So as we're making investments in water treatment facilities, we must ensure that these facilities will not fail under extreme heat, straining already limited water resources. A climate resiliency assessment might look at what happens when it's 120 degrees and the wastewater facility loses power in a blackout. We need to ensure that our facilities are prepared for the realities that we're facing. That's true whether we're talking about drought and extreme heat, or worsening hurricanes, or even rising sea levels along the coast. My amendment will ensure that future wastewater infrastructure is designed and constructed to withstand potential impacts of climate change. Importantly, my amendment also is in line with the January 2020 report on water infrastructure from the Nonpartisan Government Accountability Office. This nonpartisan report recommended that Congress require that climate resilience be considered in planning for federally funded water infrastructure projects. So I implore all of you to join me in voting yes on my amendment. We must ensure that our investments in infrastructure are long-lasting and resilient to the threat of climate change. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.